Julian Franklin, and today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite shows in the world to do. It's probably my least favorite to set up, I will admit that, but it's one of my most favorite to do. It's a story, it is a story actually, it is a story like all of my programs. It's a story, it has a beginning and a middle and an end, and we go through, it's not like a traditional magic show where you could remove this magic trick and maybe this magic trick, replace it with this magic trick. No, it's not a string of things. It's not a string of stories that I tell. Like a lot of times when you bring in a storyteller, it's nice because they have the option to, cut short if they need to or lengthen it by adding a few more stories. But this is not a collection of stories where I just deal them out like a deck of cards. Rather, it is more like a play, a production where we have a story that goes through. And this is the story of inventing. It's the story of the process of invention. And so we talk about inventors. We talk about biographies of inventors. Fiction and nonfiction, by the way, because Frankenstein is the story of Dr. Frankenstein's creation. And so he's a fictional character, Dr. Frankenstein, but yet he was an inventor. And so we talk about fictional inventors and true inventors. We talk about male and female inventors. It's a really neat kind of a multicultural sort of show in that regards. But most valuable of all, in my opinion, is this idea of how we're able to do these experiments. So one of the criteria that I put when I create a show, I've got 13 different shows that we do, and one of my criteria is that I want I want to be able to get on stage, and in 45 minutes, I want to be able to do something that your teachers cannot do over the course of an entire semester. Now that is a huge bar to jump. That's a huge hurdle for me to have to create for myself. But that's what I want to do, because otherwise I haven't done anything. If I'm going to come in and do the same thing that your teachers could do, why bring your kids out of the classroom? Quite frankly, why bring your kids out of the classroom if the presenter is going to do the same thing that the teacher is going to do? The only reason to do that is if the presenter can do something that the teachers cannot do. And what I do in this program is something that teachers would have an extremely difficult time recreating in the classroom. I literally have a 8 or 10 foot lever. I've got a 50-pound bucket of rocks and concrete. And so we put the lever on, slide the fulcrum all the way down, and then a child tries to push down here, they can't lift it. They push here, they can lift it. They get all the way to the end, they lift it with their pinky finger. 50 pounds of rocks and concrete. And even a kindergartner can lift it with their pinky finger. And now look, you can draw all the diagrams you want of skinny arrow over here, fat short arrow over here, but look, the reality is when that kid pushes that arrow, same kid, same lever, same load, same effort, and here it is. It doesn't work, here it does work, here it works with their pinky finger. That is a lesson no child will ever forget. And so that's what we do when we create, of course, with all 6 of the simple machines. It's fantastic. This show, by the way, is endorsed by the National Science Center out of Augusta, Georgia. And for good reason, because this program is an unbelievably valuable educational lesson. Fantastic to have before the state test. In fact, it was written way back when we were right after we. In fact, it was presented in some schools actually when it was still the tax test. No, TOS. Back in the days of TOS, that's when I was a teacher. In the days of TOS, that's the test I delivered. That'll give you a clue about how long ago it was, the TOS test. And then, of course, it went to tax, and now we're in the STAR, move on, and blah, blah, blah. But then it'll change again in a few years. But the point is that this is an unbelievably powerful test. They always have something about physical science, the simple machines, and this really brings it home to the kids. It's a wonderful show. Work Smarter, or you just ask for the Simple Machine Show. But Work Smarter is the name of the show. Work smarter, not harder.